Hey y'all, welcome to Racing Crafts. This is episode 1 of our file folder mini album. I did a project share on it, so let's go ahead and get started. You're going to need 12 file folders. I'm going to grab one more. It does not matter where the tab is on them because we're going to cut them off. I'm going to use a Fisker's trimmer. I'm going to use a Martha Stewart scoreboard. Any scoring board is fine, but it needs to be a full-size one. I'm going to use a bone folder and a pair of scissors. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut all of our file folders at 6 inches. So you're going to line up your scored part here where they join at 6 inches. You might want to just grab some kind of box and put all this stuff in a box until you're done making your completed mini album, because you never know when you're going to need a little piece of something. I know for sure we will probably use it, at least some of it, in the binding process. This one's going to be stubborn. There we go. Yeah. It's not exactly even, but that's okay. If I were you, I would just do them one at a time too. Okay, I have 2 left. Okay. If you wanted to make a smaller mini album, all you would need to do is just cut out the number of file folders you use. But you need to make sure that you still have a multiple of 2, because we do need 2 sides to make our binding system. Okay, so we're going to set these aside and our trimmer aside for now. And I'm going to pull out my scoreboard. And I'm going to open my file folder this way, just like that. And we are going to score at 3 5/8. So here's 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Just like that. And that's 1 page. Well, 1/2 of a page. So again, we're just going to open it and go to 5/8, which is the first little blue mark after 3 1/2 if you're using the Martha Stewart one. And you're going to do this to all 12 pages. Okay, last one. Flip that around. And we're gonna go 3 5/8. Okay, one thing that I'm going to tell you off the start, these are file folders. They're not gonna be 100% straight. They're not gonna line up perfectly. When we go to put them together, there's gonna be some cutting to make it fit right, you know. These two file folders are not gonna line up 100% the same. So we'll just do some trimming to make them straight. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is you take and you're gonna fold up. I'm gonna take my bone folder and I'm just gonna score that score line right there. And what you're gonna wanna do is you're going to cut part of this part, this seam here, out. Otherwise, you're gonna have a mess. See how bulky that is? That's bad. So I'm gonna grab a pair of scissors and I'm gonna cut up the seam here. And I'm gonna cut this side off. Now, if you're really good with your trimmer, you could do it on your trimmer. But I'm not fantastic at that. So I do it by hand. Now for this one, you're still gonna be a little bulky. So what I do is I just come over and I'm happening to use one of the ribs in the design on the front, or what would have been the front of the file folder, and I'm just going to cut that off just to give us a little room over here. And this we're going to make into our pocket, and that's 1/2 of a signature. So we're going to go ahead and do that to the rest of them. Again, we're going to fold it up in the middle, score it. I'm going to grab a bigger pair of scissors here. And if you want, you can just kind of eyeball it and cut it yourself. When you cut the one part off, and then you'll just cut straight across. That's another thing you can do, is go ahead and close it and use that as a guide of where to cut. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of mine. Okay, last one. And I learned a trick while I was doing this. When you cut up, go ahead and make sure that your file folder piece lines up over there. And if it doesn't, just go ahead and adjust the score line. And that will help line things up later. Okay, and that was 12 file folders, all trimmed up. Again, you're going to add this to your save pile. And I'm going to go ahead and pull back in all of my file folders. Okay, so now you have a decision to make. You can leave these just like this, which is what I did in my first one. But cream and white don't play nice together. And I'm using, and I knew that going into that album, but for this album I'm using this paper pack right here, which is full of all of the contemporary colors. So there's some whites, and I want to be able to use those whites. So that means the pieces that are going to show on this, I need to change the color of. Now, there's more than one way to do that. You could use distress inks. I wouldn't, of course, use that color, but it just happens to be laying here. You could use distress dyes. You could use embossing powders. You could use anything, really. I mean, you could mist it. You could do all kinds of stuff. I happen to have somewhere, I moved them. That's why they're not there. Some distress dyes that are in those little squish bottles. And that's what I'm going to use to change the color of mine. I just have to find the bucket where I put them. Okay, I'm going to pause this and I'm going to find that bottle and I will be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. So what I have that I'm going to use is this Distress Stain by Tim Holtz. And I've put my protective pad down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to open him up this way to start with. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around, and like I said, I'm using picked raspberry, and I'm just going to give myself a 1/4 of an inch border, give or take, just so I'm covering my edges. Like I said, you could do this with regular distress ink in a blender. Oop, I didn't need to do that part. Oop. And it doesn't matter if I get some of this on the inside. Not a big deal. You just want your outside edges and then the inside part where, see, this is going to come up, so you're not going to see that anyways. But you just want, you're going to have a 1/4 of an inch border with your patterned paper, and you just don't want to see this manila color anymore. So I'm going to grab my heat gun, and I'm going to quick dry this. And it's going to warp a little bit. That's okay. Not a big deal. it'll work out all right in the end. And you're just going to do this to all of your pages. Just like that. And that's where we're going to stop today. So I will see you guys probably, I will try to get 2 or 3 of these up in a week. So this is where we're going to end section 1. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by.